Flesh and Blood So Cheap? The Triangle Fire and Its Legacy, authored by historian Albert Marrin, is a meticulously documented young adult nonfiction book that delves into the tragic events surrounding the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory building fire in 1911. This devastating incident served as a catalyst for the enactment of workplace safety laws in 20th century America. Published in 2011 by Alfred A. Knopf on the centennial anniversary of the disaster, the book examines the fire's impact and sheds light on the prevailing social inequalities and exploitative working conditions that resulted in the needless loss of 146 lives. Geared towards readers aged 12 and above, it provides a poignant account of the historical events. The Triangle Shirtwaist Company factory occupied the 8th, 9th, and 10th floors of the Ash Building, now known as the Brown Building, situated in Greenwich Village. Specializing in the production of shirtwaists, a popular style of women's blouses, the factory predominantly employed young female immigrants of Jewish and Italian descent who toiled under grueling conditions for meager wages, often working 7 days a week. On Saturday, March 25, 1911, a fire erupted within the factory. Survivors recalled that it initially started on the 8th floor, where smoke emerged from beneath a table. Attempts were made to douse the flames with buckets of water, but the fire continued to spread. Rapidly escalating, it engulfed hanging paper that eventually fell onto the garment-cutting machines. Despite the discovery of a hose in the stairway, it proved futile as it was disconnected from a water supply. The exact cause of the fire remains unclear, with possibilities ranging from workers' discarded cigarette butts to a malfunctioning sewing machine. The highly flammable nature of the sheer cotton fabric used in the shirtwaists, coupled with the presence of other combustible materials, facilitated the rapid propagation of the fire. Tragically, there were no fire extinguishers or firefighting equipment readily available to contain the blaze. Marrin's account illuminates the circumstances surrounding the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, providing readers with a vivid understanding of the event and its enduring impact on labor rights and workplace safety in American history. The workers at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory were not adequately trained on emergency procedures, exacerbating the dire situation during the fire. Despite the firehouse being just 6 blocks away, the swift response of the firefighters and the heroic efforts of elevator operators who risked their lives to bring down as many people as possible, the lack of preparedness was evident. The 8th floor occupants, although initially overwhelmed and in chaos, managed to evacuate successfully without any fatalities. However, the fire rapidly spread to the 9th floor when the intense heat caused the windows on the 8th floor to explode. Trapped on the upper floors, the factory workers faced insurmountable obstacles. One stairwell was engulfed in flames, rendering it impassable, while the other exit, the Washington Street stairwell, was locked by the factory owners. These doors were typically kept locked to prevent theft, discourage tardiness, and impede union organizers. Unfortunately, anyone who attempted to reach the Washington Street exit met a tragic fate. Desperate to escape, some resorted to leaping from the windows, facing a horrifying 95-foot drop. Firefighters attempted to save lives by setting up safety nets, but the impact of the fall was so powerful that the nets tore and victims struck the ground with fatal force. The fire escape, ill-equipped to accommodate such a large number of people, ultimately collapsed under the weight. Although the building itself was declared fireproof, the absence of safety measures within, such as proper fixtures and non-flammable materials, contributed to the devastating outcome. It becomes evident from Marrin's account that the factory owners showed little regard for the well-being of their workers. Among the 146 lives lost, the youngest victim was a 14-year-old girl, while the oldest was 43. This tragic event stands as one of the deadliest incidents in New York City history until the 9/11's terrorist attacks. The striking imagery presented by Marrin's narrative inevitably prompts readers to draw parallels between these two significant historical events. The Triangle Factory fire not only marked a tragic workplace disaster, but also served as a catalyst for significant social reforms and the implementation of fire safety laws that are now often taken for granted. Prior to the fire, there were earlier attempts by both ambitious individuals and groups to advocate for the safety of immigrant workers in perilous jobs. However, it was the harrowing events of the Triangle Factory fire that truly galvanized these movements, propelling them forward and bringing about much-needed change. The book delves into more than just the disaster itself. It paints a vivid picture of the lives led by new immigrants and the daily struggles they faced while striving to build a better future in America. In meticulous detail, The book examines the deplorable conditions of sweatshops and their origins, shedding light on the courageous activism that arose in response to exploitative practices by unscrupulous business owners. It is a tale of resilience and solidarity as laborers united and fought against greed-driven corporations to improve working conditions. However, the narrative does not end on a triumphal note. Instead, it serves as a cautionary tale, reminding readers of more recent tragedies, such as the garment factory fires in Bangladesh, where the pursuit of cheap labor continues to exact a heavy toll in terms of human lives. The author underscores the unfortunate tendency of human beings to forget the lessons of the past, emphasizing the need for ongoing vigilance and a collective commitment to prevent such tragedies from recurring. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.